Good morning, everyone. I hope that you can hear me. Just let me know if you can't. I'm a little crazy this morning. I understand this is a really early stream for me, and I don't normally stream this early. And so I understand a lot of you won't be able to be in the chat, but I'm saying hello to everyone who is in the chat, which I see Memphis. Hello, good morning. Yeah, my weekend's starting off right because I'm going to be playing a Vampire the Masquerade game, and let me actually go ahead and get this music back up because you don't want to just hear my voice with nothing behind it. And yeah, for all of you who can't join me in the chat, this video will be available as soon as I'm done streaming, and I'll also be streaming around this time tomorrow as well. And if this goes into Monday, then I'll be streaming at my more normal time of 7 p.m. Central Eastern Standard Time, or just 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or what's that one, 12, 11, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have to think of all the time zones. It's just the joys of being a YouTuber. But I'm loving this game. I'm so excited to keep going. In the last part, Julia sort of got mixed up in not a plot, but a scheme to sort of get the Anarchs under Camarilla control because Boss Callahan was murdered, most likely, by whom we don't know, and we're gonna find out, I guess. And of course, we got to talk to Katarina Visa for a little while, who we want her to be our best friend, and we would love to restart the Sabbat with her, but I don't see that happening exactly. But we're on night 5, apparently, so let's jump right back into it. So excited. And like I said, this game takes a little while to load, and I'm not entirely sure why. There we go. And I think the last thing we did is we fed on that girl in the club who was also in Coteries, who was Sophie's little blood doll. Hello, Vampire Monster. Welcome to the very early morning stream. I leave the booming sounds of the club behind me and get on with my night. Okay. Yay, so we can still go meet Samira. That's the thing I wanted to do. I thought that girl was the strange girl that Julia mentioned for all of 3.7 seconds, saying she wasn't human, vampire, or ghost, but it wasn't. It was just that blood doll girl. But yes, I want to go meet Samira. I love Samira. I love the Banu Hakim. If I had to list my favorite clans, it would be Lasombra first, because I am a Lasombra. Then it would be Nosferatu, and then Banu Hakim would definitely be third. Those are my top 3 favorite clans. So, Samira is asking me to meet her, if not for the ongoing celebrations. The Patrician would prove an odd choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful insight into the case. Let's do it. Love Samira. A clean-cut staff member dressed... Let me unplug my headset here, actually, because it's cumbersome. A clean-cut staff member dressed in an impeccable company uniform smiles at me as the elevator door opens. Good evening, ma'am. Meeting someone? I dismiss his question with an apathetic shrug. He sizes me up for a brief moment, visibly questioning my fashion sense. However, his professional acumen quickly trumps his discontent. Very well. This way, please. NYC's Nouveau Riche? That was Nouveau Riche. Seems awfully starving for a gourmet soup this late at night. The Patrician is packed almost to the brim. The concierge points me over to the last vacant table, conveniently situated in the far-off corner of the main hall. I nestle in the chair, letting my elbows rest on the ornate tablecloth. Watch out, oblivious white collars. There's a black widow in your midst. Well, I'm here. Might as well just kick back and die of boredom. Ellipses. Yeah. Ellipses. I really, really need something to occupy my mind. Just chit-chat with the concierge some more? Yeah, let's talk to him some more. A quick glance at the nearby grandfather clock momentarily stupefies me. Barely 10 minutes have passed since my arrival, but it feels like I've been sitting here for at least an hour. Enough's enough. I wave at the concierge, inadvertently making a scene. Might as well bring some much-needed Philistine vibes to this place. Hey, buddy. Yeah, you. The concierge quickly closes in on me, dancing habitually between the tables, and addresses me before I can even utter a single word. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you Miss Sawinski by chance? As soon as I nod, he hands me a carefully folded memo and leaves. The note reads, The manager of this establishment insulted the Camarilla's authority with his negligence. Even though it's minor, his transgressions must be penalized. I would like you to assist me in this matter. Such a display of goodwill on your part would surely improve your standing with the higher-ups. Choose an appropriate, non-lethal punishment, S. Your top clan is Brujah? Well, I listed top 3 vampire monster. You absolutely have to tell me your top 3 favorite. Is number 1 Brujah? Well, this is disappointing. It was a high order to expect any help with the investigation, I guess. Instead, just another chore. The best I can hope for is that this really is just a friendly request and not a deliberate attempt to derail my work this early in the game. Damn it. Might as well get it done since I'm already here so I can move on with more pressing stuff. I swiftly approach the manager and tap him on the shoulder. He furrows his brow as soon as he notices me. I'm afraid I'm busy. One of the waiting staff should be able to. We have something to discuss. The VIP lounge. Now, if you please. I love Vampire the Masquerade, but it's hard to look at now after Paradox fired the man from Bloodlines 2. Yeah, I don't have any, of course I'm aware of Brian Mitsoda being fired. I really don't have any more information than anybody else does, and he hasn't spoken openly about it, besides thanking his supporters who are supporting him after him being let go. Unfortunately, I have no insider knowledge to anything that went on there, so I really can't say either way. Brujah Gangrel Toreador. I love that people love the Toreador. I feel like the Toreador do not get enough love. My top clan is Toreador. They are the rose, the sweetness, the beautiful melody that makes the world of Masquerade work. I absolutely agree. I've seen so many people who are just so down on the Toreador, and I think they are awesome. And I think they're very much like the Anne Ricey version of the vampires, and they deserve way more attention and love than they get in the fandom, I feel. Second, the Brujah, that fierce conviction, their rabble-rousing nature that has brought down kings and emperors alike. I agree, especially Ventrue kings and emperors. As far as I know, it was a total shock to him. Yep. As far as I'm aware, he hasn't said either way. I could be wrong about that. I haven't kept up too much with that. Of course, I love Bloodlines 2, but just like with... I don't love Bloodlines 2, I haven't played it. But of course, I love Bloodlines. When it comes to games in Vampire the Masquerade, I tend to not look too deeply into what's going on with them, because I leave that to my buddy Josh in Gaming FTL, Strange Adventures, to do that, because I want to go into a game totally blind. So I knew very little about Shadows before I started playing it. Third is the Malkavians. They break the... I don't know what that word... Angst? They break against the status quo. And their antics give everyone on edge. Stops the game from being too safe. You never know when one can break. Absolutely. Absolutely. His face loses color. Maybe it has dawned on him that I'm even paler than the other, more blue-blooded guests. He immediately becomes compliant as I escort him through a side door. The room isn't empty, but its guests are just leaving. Nobody pays me any attention. The manager is as polite as he can be as he sees the patrons out, but I can see he's clearly losing his shit. He quietly asks one of his staff to give him 5 minutes in the lounge and gingerly closes the doors behind him. Then the pleading starts. Listen, I know I screwed up. I shouldn't have let him in. How could I know he's not one of the proper clients? I don't give a listen. Hey. I would never. I implore you. I have children, for Christ's sake. There must be something, an arrangement, a way to... He just goes on as if I'm not even here. With each subsequent whimper, he becomes more and more irritating. I want to lash out at him. What do you guys think? Should I explain or lash out? I kind of want to lash out at him. Brujah, Malkavian, Toreador. I'm loving all the love for the Toreador. Tremere, Lasombra, and Tremere. Tremere gets 2 places. I love the troublemakers. Absolutely. I do like the Tremere. I do. They're just not my top favorite. If I had to pick a clan that I probably... there's no clan that I don't like. If I had to pick a clan that I identify with the least, it would probably be Ventrue. It would be the clan I personally identify with the least. Say I should explain. Okay. I really want to lash out, you guys. Come on, let me be totally unhinged. Just shut up for a goddamn second. My outburst finally makes him hold his tongue. I light up my last cig in the package and take a slow puff, trying to compose myself. I have no use for your explanations and justifications. I don't know what sort of transgression you've committed. I should never have let this Sansarik guy in. I hope I said that right. And truth be told, I don't give a shit. It will never happen again, I swear on my mother's grave, just... I'm not that good a judge of character, but him pleading with his arms out really makes him look like the biblical wayward son, swearing to change his ways. Brand him or let him off with a warning? I say let him off with a warning, since I already was nice and explained instead of lashing out at him. Let's be subtle. I don't wanna. I wanna be manic and unhinged. It meant salubri, okay. I was gonna say Tremere, Lasombra, Tremere. Although, you know, if you're really a Tremere fan person, you could say Tremere twice. I do like the Salubri as well. I would love to know or to have the Salubri back into V5. There is a mention of the Salubri in the V5 core book. I can't, again, when I'm streaming, for some reason, lore seems to fall out of my brain, but I can't think of it at the moment. It's in there though. Brand him? All right. I grab his hand in a tight grip, palm up, and take a puff to rekindle the burning tip of my cigarette. He doesn't fight back. You and I both know they will want proof that I gave you a lesson so you won't forget. So I hope you realize that this is mercy. I put my smoke out in the palm of his hand to the accompaniment of his muffled screams. His eyes become watery, but other than that, he takes it like a champ. If I have to come back to this shithole, the next one will go right here. I look him in the eye and crassly flick his eyelid before taking off. I didn't know I was capable of this sort of cruelty, but here we are. Karen warned me that our something in bloodline, there we go, finds sniveling weaklings detestable. Is that what triggered me? But that's a conundrum for another occasion. Well, the Lasombra, the things Lasombra are good at is ruthlessness. I did what I was asked, and I've sure as hell wasted enough time here. I should move on. I'm bummed. I wanted to see Samira. All right, it's time I had to see Kadir. Mighty kind of him to arrange a meeting in the place that's most convenient for me. What, the fast food place again? No. Oh, look at this art. Can we just appreciate the art for a second? Isn't it fabulous? I love it. I'm getting verklempt here. A Karen, yeah, I know. I want to know whose decision that was to make her sire's name Karen. I just want to meet them and shake their hand. D'Angelo, Hope, Tamika, Agathon. I suppose that's better than nothing. But no evidence? Really? Honestly, it felt as if someone had already cleaned up the most egregious stuff before I arrived. Sounds like the Anarchs. I'll definitely try and check that place again, but I feel I'd need some sort of expert to accompany me. An advanced investigator who would show me the ropes, like D'Angelo. Someone tall and handsome, maybe? Yeah, if you don't mind a diplomatic incident, I'll go with you. Aww. Any better ideas? Actually, this very note gave me one, but I will need to set it up first. I will get back to you about that. Yeah, we're gonna see D'Angelo. I love D'Angelo, and I get to use my Boston accent when I do his voice. The Lasombra is a clan of Karens. Hey, I am not a Karen. I love the animation. Well, I guess it would be a clan of Karens and Kevins, right? Since for the male Lasombras. You know these people? I've had passing contact with each of them. Part and parcel of the job, you know. I suppose. Can you help me out with this? The way I'd tackle it would be, look at one person on the list every night. Ask around about them, and see what they know if you do manage to meet them. If I manage to meet them? They're not particularly easy to get a hold of. Always preferred to be a little off the grid, but nowadays they're all practically in hiding, if not MIA or dead. Funny coincidence? It is not my job to speculate. In other words, he knows something, but is not at liberty to say. I guess I'll find out anyway, if I do meet them. Click. And why one night each? Shouldn't I investigate every loose thread until we're satisfied? In a perfect world, you'd have all the time you needed, but this is not a perfect world. They'll try to brute force a solution to the case as soon as possible. Does that mean we're locked into limited date nights again? I didn't like that about the first one, and I'm under the impression that they fixed that post-release in a patch, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm liking the different accents. Okay, I'm gonna say this again, and I've said it in every stream. I don't do accents. Accents aren't my thing. Every accent you're hearing is garbage that I just make up out of my brain. But I'm glad that you like it. It amuses me, and that's sort of the number one thing going on here. I suspect that 4 nights from now, once the celebrations of power are over, they'll ask for your findings, and that will be all. 4 nights? Really? So I have 1 night for each one? No dilly-dallying? Fucked up. To be brutally honest, my focus wouldn't be on solving the murder. Instead, I'd focus on not embarrassing yourself. Fucked up. This is part of why I didn't want you to get involved. You couldn't possibly think Arturo had you involved out of the goodness of his heart. The entirety of your investigation is just for show. You are meant to be an unwitting actor. If it wasn't for the loyalty I feel toward Kadir, Samira, and my sire, God knows the memory of my embrace still holds too much sway on me, I'd have plotted a vendetta against these assholes long ago. But let's be frank, even if I thought that lying to Mia about being sympathetic to the New York City Anarchs yesterday would benefit me, I still probably wouldn't do it. It would feel like betrayal. There's something about the Camarilla's ideals that still ring true to me, a belief in individual excellence and nobility, or the way time-tested traditions can ground us in this terrifying new existence. But being on the receiving end of this shitty neo-feudal structure and seeing firsthand how the elites always play by their own rules, regardless. I can't help but think there must be something better out there, the kind of Camarilla that would actually deserve slavish loyalty from kindred like Kadir. A penny for your thoughts? I take a drag from my cigarette. I'm pissed off. Yeah. That's just the Camarilla, no? Huddy sounds great regardless. It's the Nosferatu in her. Vampire the Masquerade ASMR. No, God. That is really sweet, you guys. That's really sweet, but I'm gonna disagree wholeheartedly. After the last few months of hazing, I didn't expect a random act of kindness. This kind of bullshit is, well, just how the Camarilla works, isn't it? More often than it's necessary, I'd say. But at this time, it's a risky play. In my experience, if one simply displays some cunning, they can unexpectedly turn a situation like this to their advantage. The court, part of the court, assumes that you're unable to surprise them in this regard. But if you do, by the end of this investigation, you might as well pull yourself out of the ditch you're in. That would be a night to remember. So, where should I go first? You should go with me. As it happens, I'm only out here because I was ordered to drive Aisling to the art hole. And guess the name of her protege. Is it Agathon, could it be? Oh, so that's who Agathon is. Or was. Nobody knows. It's a complicated thing. You'll see. I'm on the clock, so let's get a move on. Vin Diesel rides again. Still not done with this bit? I hope she's never done with this bit. Not while it's still bothering you. I'm leaving you behind if you don't keep up. Awesome. And then just stares daggers at us the whole ride. As I already told Kadia, and numerous times at that, I have no idea what happened with Agathon. The Broadway Chantry, part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Ashling's usual hangout place these past few nights. She's in a hurry and not willing to talk. Okay, so... yeah, okay. Do you have any idea about his connection to kindred going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? I don't. I made a point to keep our relationship strictly professional, one, and never meddle in his personal affairs. Keep our relationship strict... Okay, they're missing an A here. To keep our relationship A, strictly professional one, and never meddled in his personal affairs, unless they influenced our work, that is. But it only happened one time. Ah, yes, the infamous Juno case. Yeah, it was his girlfriend, right? Or someone he was in love with. Was there any conflict? Were you two in conflict about anything? Something that might have driven a wedge between you? A pause which is slightly too long for me not to get suspicious. Nothing I can think of, but I did take offense to one thing. It was quite rude of him not to give me a proper warning before he departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favored by folks with a perfect grasp of savoir-vivre. Savoir-vivre. I don't speak French. I do hope his search will bring him back right where he started, begging me to take him back in. The boy is talented, and I did put a lot of time into mentoring him. If he doesn't, well, que sera, sera. No skin off my back. So you won't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. A researcher's mindset. She doesn't think it's worth considering the worst-case scenario seriously, and just takes things as they come. Precisely. If, for example, climate change scientists didn't operate this way, most would have put a bullet in their head a long time ago. That's a cheery thought. I'd like to search the Chantry for Agathon's whereabouts. Our good sheriff already did that long ago. You'd just be wasting your time, and ours, for that matter. Didn't you say Helene was waiting for us, Kadir? Give the girl 15 minutes, Aisling. A minimal support for an ongoing investigation. And besides, she has a proclivity for finding things everyone else has overlooked. 10 minutes, and if you attempt to pass this door, or that one up there, I can't guarantee you'll walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Regent. Just get on with it. Whoa! And let's go visit the moon! My time here is practically up, and I found nothing of use. It seems Agathon was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as barren as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever. Nothing I could go by. It's all research, research, research. He seems like such a bore. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a warlock workaholic? Where would you leave clues to your whereabouts? What would you do if you found yourself in mortal danger and wanted Dakota to know? It's the ghosts again. It's loose. Was that... Yeah. It was facing this way, huh? I approached the place where I saw the shadowy silhouette appear. It's a brick wall, and one of the bricks is loose. Kadir and Aisling are in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find humor in the little things. It's demeaning, Sheriff. That's all there is to it. It's time. I work the brick loose until I can grip it. Then I tug it as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. Inside there's a book. I browse through it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo. I'm sorry, that's Ashley. Your 10 minutes are up. So are your 15 minutes, in fact. Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I still feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the brick back and take the diary with me. It did look like Agathon left it so that someone in the Chantry could find it, presumably the High Regent. But my investigation takes priority for now. I bid Kadir and Aisling adieu and start looking for a secluded place to read the diary. This place right here should be secluded enough for me to browse through the diary in peace. I start quickly skimming the book, singling out sentences and paragraphs that look interesting, trying to get a general idea of what kind of person Agathon was. Or is, I hope. Oh, and there's this one too. I love it. Oh God, I love this so much. The more I read, the clearer the image of the person becomes. He's been working under the High Regent for 15 years. There's an underlying shame in the way he talks about Tremere magic. He always describes himself as too on the uptake. Too late to learn something, too much of an amateur. He was really into tying his self-worth to his wisdom. The entries beginning in 2012 are terrifyingly regular. The handwriting is extraordinarily neat. The author's absolute dedication to his studies is palpable. If there's anything to his unlife besides work, it's his relationships with the three important women he holds dear. The first is his master, Aisling Sturbridge, whom he reveres for her knowledge, stoicism, and willingness to experiment. I was hoping to find some details about her secretive work here, but no dice. Looks like he was willing to risk someone finding all about his inner life. Okay, but not anything that could harm her studies. A good pupil, serving a good mentor. I'm jealous. The second is another warlock, his ex-lover Juno, whom he feels guilty about. They had a conflict in which Aisling was involved. Having to choose between the two, he chose Aisling. According to Agathon, there was never real love between him and Juno. First, it was just shared interests, then a growing disconnect, and ultimately guilt which made him feel responsible for her. But maybe it's just excuses? He strikes me as the kind of person who spends most of his time inside his head. Doesn't sound like someone you could have a fulfilling romance with. That one time in high school, that one time at band camp. Oh God, Julia, this is not the time to revisit the time you pettily perceive as ground zero for your fucked up mental state. Get on with it. Anyway, I wanted to hear about it, whatever it was. Last but not least, Agathon's immortal grandmother, Sylvia. She is the light of his life and the person who took care of him after his parents died in a ritual murder. Not quite what I expected. Her family used to serve a cruel vampire in Mexico City, and it was retribution for their escape. She was the lead Tremere used to track him down, actually? Huh. That's interesting. I wonder if the cruel vampire they used to serve was Goratrix, or at least part of House Goratrix, which would be the Tremere Antitribu in the Sabbat. That's really interesting. I hear Mexico City, I think Sabbat. That's just the way it's going to be until we get more information about where they are in V5. He was keeping her alive for a long time, but a few months ago her heart gave up. Agathon blamed his insufficient skills, the kind of man who carries the entire world on his shoulders. Left alone with Aisling, he drowned himself in work and eventually burned out. But it doesn't sound like Sylvia's death was the only event that triggered his depression spiral. There was some kind of incident back in 2019. I wonder what that could have been. He doesn't cite specifics. Another thing he was worried about writing down, it's all vague mentions of a person who made him fly too close to the sun. Oops, sorry about that. Whatever happened, it had the same effect as his grandma's death. New York stopped feeling like a home to him. It became alien, empty, grotesque. His words. I checked the first page. There's a recent photograph of him glued to the inner side of the cover. He's facing away from the camera, only showing his profile and striking a rather dramatic pose. At first, it looks kind of poserish to me. However, upon closer inspection, it seems like a goodbye photo. The final melancholic glance he throws in your direction before disappearing for good. There's also a single black feather. No idea what it means. Something's written next to the photograph with a lot of flourish. It looks like a poem? More than annoyed, sad. More than sad, unhappy. More than unhappy, suffering. More than suffering, abandoned. More than abandoned, alone in the world. More than alone, exiled. More than exiled, dead. Okay. More than dead, forgotten. The Sedative, 1917, by Marie Laurencin. Looks like he wrote it down recently. It might have resonated with his emotional state over the past few months. Does your character have to be a smoker? I had no control over that. Most importantly, it seems to confirm his intent with his diary to me, although it goes very much, I think, with Julia's character. The general idea seems to be his research will outlive him, so he doesn't even detail it. Still, he wanted some kind of tangible memory of who he was left for posterity. But that's not all. There's still a mystery to be solved. Quite a few of the pages towards the end are missing, but it doesn't look like they were necessarily removed to redact information. They were torn off in a way that makes it clear the paper wasn't ever used. What's more, the preceding pages are empty as well. Could it be that? That's when it happens again. I notice a bizarre shape in my peripheral vision. Bleed. I turn to catch a glimpse as fast as possible, but it's already gone. If my heart could beat faster right now, it would be jumping out of my chest. It's discomforting. I've been seeing these apparitions ever since I turned into this. The worst part is, I feel they were always there. Even as a mortal, they were there sometimes in the corner of my eye, disappearing when I tried to look directly at them, making me think it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But when you're part of the Night Clan, there are times when they don't disappear. There are times they talk. There are times they try to force you to do their bidding. And worst of all, no, I don't want to think about it right now. Still, in my experience, they aren't exactly, consciously malevolent. This one in particular was trying to help. I open the book on the first empty page and look around to make sure nobody is staring. Then I cut myself using a razor I keep in my pocket just in case. It's not a deep slice, I just want to let a droplet of vitae fall onto the page. That's when the letters appear. I don't know what gave her that. Oh, bleed. Oh yeah, I guess that's what gave her that idea. Look at me. What? Why is tragic blurred out? Okay. Look at me. A tragic clown. No longer confident that any of my people can be trusted. I turn to I'm not saying that. A camarilla, not saying that. At that. Reserved contempt. As above, so below. Nice. Oh, Agathon's looking bitchin' from the last one, I have to say. What are you waiting for, boy? Laugh at me. Ridicule is all I deserve. Come on, don't just stand there like an idiot. You want to say something, say it. Okay. What the hell? This is the last thing I expected to happen. This diary is haunted. Oh, back to the scene. A series of quickly changing sentences and images composed of shadows and blood give me a window into another reality. It's not an objective view, it's like scattered remnants of emotions, similar to a half-remembered dream, full of holes but an honest expression of one's mind. Might be interacting with me, it's just a hypothesis, but I don't know why else it would show me Callahan. And was that Ellis Island? Ugh. We all remember Ellis Island and how disappointing that ending to Coteries was. Oh, sweet lord. But, now playing Shadows, it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe something will happen that'll sort of make up for that ending. Maybe it's supposed to be a series. It's supposed to happen. Trying to justify it. It was such a bummer at the time. I have a squeaky chair. Right. This time, I don't even look in its direction. The voice makes me feel oddly confident about what I need to do. I pick up the feather that was in the diary and dip it in my vitae. Then I write down, confusion, because that's what I feel right now. Let's try confusion. I understand why you agreed to see me, old man, but I am confused as to why you'd agonize about the choice in front of me. Makes you seem weak, neurotic, indecisive. I have my own code of honor, Lick. Not that you'd understand. Whatever. Let's just get down to business. It doesn't feel like this is the way these events took place. It's more like a way to explore Agathon's emotional truth about the way it all unfolded. Is that Voldemort's book from Harry Potter? Yeah, it sounds like it. It's just right, was it Tom Riddle or whatever in it? In any case, the diary is reacting to me, and some shade of the truth is better than nothing. It's a handy tool, and if I use it right, I might find some clues that could aid me in my investigation. There are a few thoughts floating around in my head, like alien entities trying to make their way out. Is that also an effect of the diary's power? Let's try. My old bad voice, yeah, it's kind of hard on the throat. Death. Is it fear of death that drove you to contact me? Don't be ridiculous. I've been ready to die since before you even came out of your mama's womb, boy. No, I fear something worse. So when you heard about their plot? Yes, I wasn't afraid it would fail and leave me for final death. I was afraid it would succeed. God damn it, what are the two of you talking about? Why did you meet? Let's do Ellis Island. Why did you pick this place to meet, anyway? It's secluded, and there's something in the air here that makes all the blood magic go haywire, which is especially important. Because of me? You're still afraid I might be part of the experiment? No, because of that devil woman. Blood running cold. Well, your blood doesn't run. You're a vampire. You don't have a heartbeat. All the scribblings disappear and another set starts taking their place. The diary conjures an image of a completely different place. I instantly get a feeling of déjà vu. I process the space differently. The atmosphere is different, more familiar, homely, but this is unmistakably the Tremere Chantry I visited earlier tonight. And standing there is just the person I'd expect. Aisling Sturbridge. Looks like that's it for my meeting with Callahan. God damn it. But what if the person he was talking about and eliciting a strong emotional reaction from was Aisling? The diary waits my next command. Let's do when. High Regent, when? It shouldn't surprise you that these arrangements were already in place back when you started working for me. The proof was all around you all the time. You were just choosing not to look at it. Don't act like you aren't complicit, Agathon. I don't feel comfortable being a part of this at all. I always thought we were busy with science, not politics. These are the words of a child, Agathon. Science has always relied on politics, and politics on science. Not like this, High Regent. Don't embarrass me, Agathon. Not like this. The moving scribblings disappear again. I hastily let another drop of blood fall on the page. So no heartbeat, but vampires still bleed, don't they? Well, I guess that's sort of liberty. No, vampires don't have a heartbeat, so if you cut them, it doesn't bleed profusely or anything. Even when they cut themselves to give another their blood or to drip it down, they have to force the vitae up and out with force of will, because they don't have a circulatory system that works. They don't have a beating heart. What appears this time is yet another familiar face. Ah yes, Agathon. What is it that you wanted to tell me? Fuck you. Fuck you. I was sorry I want to say. It was to say I hate him. Fuck you. I beg your pardon. The harpy vanishes. Yeah, right. As if I could ever gather courage to say this to your face. But the least I can do is try and stab you in the back. The diary ends here. I spill a little more vitae on the page, but it no longer works. I suppose that's it. Still no idea what happened to Agathon. Is he alive or is he dead? Well, we don't really know, but I'm going to say he's alive. Because I want to believe he's alive. Want to believe some of them are alive still from coteries. Oh, Arturo, everyone's fave slime queen. I hate that guy. I'd love to go up to him and punch him in the face and tell him to F off. Maybe Dakota is right. I've been a glass half empty buzzkill too often. I will brace for the worst, but hope for the best. The way he left his diary for someone to carry on his work, the hints he strategically left inside it, he's got this all planned out, no doubt about it. I choose to believe I will see him again one night. Maybe I'll even compliment that jacket he has. I got a new trait! Glass half full. Oh, it's very not Lasombra. Oh boy. Back, you fool. In any case, I think it's time to pay a visit to the art hole. I know Arturo tends to leave the Elysium quite often to take in some fresh air and message people on his BlackBerry, so I just wait until I see him. The tactic works. He's surprised to see me. Miss Sowinski, shouldn't you be busy with your investigation? Is it still... Oh, right, that's right. The party's going on for a week, isn't it? So they're just going to be dressed up like this for a week? I am, actually, which is why I've come to see you. That's peculiar, because I'm absolutely sure I have nothing to do with this case. Aren't you barking up the wrong tree? That's what I'm here to find out. I assumed you'd want to see I'm thorough. Yes, sure, I suppose it's commendable. What is it then? I have reasons to believe that in the last few months, you, the High Regent Aisling Sturbridge, and her child Agathon were involved in a secretive scheme. His expression changes ever so imperceptibly, but the difference is palpable to me. For the first time ever, he looks at me as a person. Up until now, I was just an amusing diversion. Now I'm something more, and he doesn't like it. What gave you this idea? I'm not at liberty to say. If you really want to know, ask the sheriff. Of course, Kadir doesn't know anything, but he's the only one in the court that Arturo has repeatedly failed to influence. He'll think twice before approaching him. I fail to see how this matter relates to the task at hand. I have every reason to think Baron Callahan was involved, and that he might have had grounds to fear for his life because of said scheme. He's tense now. Do I have the upper hand? Not likely. Miss Sowinski, please, answer the question. Looks like he has an alien in his pocket. The delicate matter you are speaking of has absolutely nothing to do with Baron Callahan's grim fate. It's a strictly confidential affair. It would be wise of you to stop pursuing it. It would be wise of you to fuck off. I can't be an investigator if I'm not allowed to properly investigate. This matter is unrelated to your work and should be treated as such. I'm 100% convinced Prince Panhard would agree. Of course she would. Because she's bloodbound to you, crazy bastard. God, I hate this guy. Ugh. If you insist on pursuing it further, we can take it up to the prince and see if her stance differs from mine, but I think you aren't as naive as to waste her time this way, and besides, she'd certainly want you to present the basis for your discovery to the court. Could you handle it? Maybe. I have no response. God damn it. This is his revenge for invoking Kadir, isn't it? I thought so. Is the High Regent inside? She is, but don't worry. I'll make sure to tell her not to waste your precious time, Miss Sowinski. So that's how you're gonna play it, you bastard? Well, I guess you win this round. A strategic retreat is my only choice here. I don't have a full deck of cards yet, but just you wait. In a few nights. I'll take my leave then. Yes, do that. And if I may be so blunt, focus on the investigation avenues that aren't utterly imbecilic and suicidal to pursue, miss. I bid you adieu. I curse him out under my breath as he disappears inside the art hole. Guess this avenue really is cut off for me, at least for now. 3 names left on the list. I still have some leads to go by, but for now, it's getting late. I should go to St. Patrick's and file my latest report. I'll go see Benoit again. When I reach the cathedral, Father Leonard is already there. He's not exactly the most punctual person, so I always feel relieved to see him from afar. Time to move in and move out before I'm noticed by Benoit. Will this be all? I guess so. I rattled off most of it in a hurry on the way here. I'll come up with a more exhaustive report tomorrow night. Busy? Looks that way, Father. Our wayward girl has finally been recognized by her superiors. Here we go again. Of course he had to sneak up on me. If even you heard about that, I guess that means every single kindred in the 5 boroughs knows. I know you're an expert when it comes to knowing who's saying what and where, but the last time we met, you promised to share that knowledge with me. Yeah, I was kind of lying. That's the 9th commandment broken, Father. Shouldn't you scold her? Don't involve me in your silly games, Benoit. The way you fall for obvious lies stems from your biggest failing in communication. And that is? You only pay attention to the what that's being said and not the how. That's... Booyah, motherfucker, suck it. Annihilated with an absolutely flawless diagnosis. Child, don't make me regret siding with you. I'm sorry, Father. Won't happen again, especially if you promise to keep verbally destroying that clown. You're in a strange mood tonight, child. Go get some sleep. Yes, we'll continue this tomorrow. I'm not showing up here tomorrow. Yes, you are. Now stop breaking the 9th commandment. See you around, Julia. He says my name in a sickly sweet way that gives me the creeps. I bow to Father Leonard, do my best to ignore Benoit, and head for Dakota's place. She stopped at some point. Wasn't she playing this morning? What? Are you talking about me, John Cook? I streamed Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Central European Standard Time. And now I'm streaming again at, it's right now 11 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time. I can't help it. I want to play. I want to play more. It's just, after a couple of hours, my voice just can't take it anymore of the constant reading and talking and doing voices that are absolutely terrible. Ooh. I want those twinkly lights in front of my bed. Finally, my haven. Not this mirror thing. I don't like that. Is this a shadow or a ghost? I don't know what that is. Oh, it disappeared. All right. Hey. Hey. Another tough night? You don't know the half of it. You want a drink? She points to her neck. I manage to summon a faint smile. I'd love to, but you know we can't do this too often. Maybe tomorrow. So we're all assuming something terrible's going to happen to Dakota, right? I really liked Benny in Coteries, but he creeps me out hardcore now. Yeah, he was always sort of on the edge of being super creepy. You want to talk then? Yeah, guess so. Just not about work, okay? I sit down next to her. Not about work, got it. What's on your mind then? The past, I guess? Meaning? How spotty our memories are, and how, despite that, that's what we build our convictions on. Sorry, it's so banal. I'm just tired and frustrated. Well, let's talk about something more specific then. What do you remember about the first time we met? The time we first met? Yeah. Shit. Not a lot, actually. Those were gloomy, anxious days. I think I subconsciously replaced most of them with blank spaces. Hi, Araxiel. It's great to see you. I love reading your comments. And a lot of my videos. You comment on a lot of my videos. Yes, at this point I think she will die or something. And it's too beautiful. Yeah, it's too beautiful for the world of darkness, absolutely. Yeah. I remember you trying to paint your hair black. Ouch. Don't dig up my trauma now, okay? I remember that when we first talked, we talked about Hausu. Whatever that is. Don't say Hausu. It's low-key racist, I think. Nobody ever knows what you mean by house. Ah, that show with the asshole doctor? No, the Japanese haunted house horror film that feels like it was written by a 7-year-old with ADHD. In the best way. In the best way, duh. We were arguing which characters from the movie both of us are. You were Kung Fu, and I ended up as Professor, which was rude. You were dressed up like a total nerd. Not my fault. What was the deal with that suit? I liked that suit. I hated that suit, just for the record. Yeah, it was okay. I remember helping you out with graphic design whenever you needed it. Funny, I remember you needing help with writing as something that tended to happen far more often. Yeah, we developed a fun shared aesthetic with similar surface concerns, and it bonded us together even before we made sure we were fully compatible deep down as human beings. Hell, I'm still not sure we are, especially now with me not being a human anymore. But hey, at least we both agree that this bedroom feels super comfy. I remember always feeling left out of your social circles. Always knocking at the door from the outside. Oh, forget it. My social circles were full of out-of-touch, snobby assholes. Yeah, but it felt weird how much they avoided me. And there was that one time with Isabella. All of a sudden, one thing Isabella said at that one party flashes in my mind with startling clarity. After midnight in that kitchen without context, she just walked up to me and... She will isolate you, she will suck you dry, and she'll move on to the next target. That's the only thing she knows. Ugh, don't remind me of Isabella. She always resented me. It's been so long, and it's all baseless conjecture now, but what if she really did isolate me on purpose back then? Nah, the glass is half full. The past is Schrodinger's cat, and all that. Better to believe in the positive version of events. Well, the past is... if it's Schrodinger's cat, then the past is both real and not real in this particular context. Come to think of it, friend or foe, if you don't believe they're on your side, they will know it one way or the other, and then it's 100% certain they won't be on your side. Maybe optimism really is the way. I'm definitely gonna get her killed now that I'm a loyal person with the glass half full. She's definitely gonna die. In a really nasty way. Yeah, forget Isabella. Let's just drop this talk. I'm frustrated enough. I need a rest. Sounds like a good idea. Off to sleep? Yeah, gotta get ready to go back to hell tomorrow. Alright, I'll get back to work. You're working remotely again? Yeah, my office is going insane for so many reasons, and I'm getting cabin fever too. Get some sun. It will be good for you. Look who's talking. Good night, sunshine. Good night. Aww, cute. Let's rest. Let's have a little resty rest. A little nappy nap. A few minutes after I wake up, I see a message slipped under the apartment's front door. Kadir? Question mark. Yep. Looks like he's got a short window to meet me in Queens a few hours from now. Willets Point. A single suggestion. Get ready for action. Yeah, the world is such sunshine and rainbows now. I know this is... I'm aware this is supposed to be 2020, and I'm sure Draw Distance purposefully did not put any COVID stuff in there, although they were still in development at the time that was going on. It's still going on, obviously. Developing, I should say. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird to be playing a game based in 2020 and have that not be a theme at all, which is unfortunate, which is a bummer, because I'm sure as we're not going to want to be reminded of it forever and ever and ever. But it shouldn't have to pervade every single sort of media. But it's pretty huge, pretty world shaping event. So I don't know. It's a very weird time. We're living in weird times. That's the only thing people can say about it. Fine then, I will. Best way to do it would be to clear my mind. Just walk without thinking. Reset the framework. Some fresh air should do it. Hi, Mr. Bearmouse. Oh, it's so good to see you. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't expect to see so many people in the chat, honestly. I figured I'd just be talking to myself because it's such a weird time for me to be doing this. Maybe a chance meeting with someone could get me out of this mental rut. Let me look at the world from a different angle for a while and improve my mood. Oh, this reminds me. I meant to say this probably in my first stream, but I forgot. If anybody is really loving this Modern Knights New York with, Prince Panhard and the Thin Blood Primogen and things like that, if you guys aren't listening to A Stitch of Fate, which is a Pod by Night Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition podcast that takes place in New York, that features characters here from Shadows and Coteries and, New York-based kindred. It features my buddy Josh from Gaming FTL and Strange Adventures, and it also features Mark Meir, aka the voice of Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect series, and also Chaz Price from LA by Night. And it takes place in New York, and a lot of these characters are featured in it, and it's a story told by Mathis Games, who is an amazing storyteller. So I highly recommend everybody checks it out if you haven't checked it out already. I still expect Dakota to get coronavirus or something. She seems like a person who would. Not take precautions and be all conspiracy theory about it. It's a bummer, but it's cutting out a huge swath of depression. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to comment on that, Memphis. I do enjoy her character of Vera, though. They all sound sexy. Well, they are all sexy. That's obvious. That's pretty obvious. Maybe a chance meeting with someone could get me out of this mental rut. Blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure I already read that. Although when it comes to improving one's mood, nothing beats some crimson red pouring down my throat. The title of that podcast is called A Stitch of Fate, and you can find it under Pod by Night on Spotify and wherever people listen to podcasts. Yeah, I understand you want to play it first. I wouldn't want you to be spoiled by anything that I'm doing, Mr. Bearmouse. So get out of here before you ruin it for yourself. Although when it comes to improving one's mood, nothing beats some crimson red pouring down my throat. Not to mention these cigarettes taste best with a full stomach. Let's go. Okay. What do we got here? What do we got? That's my table. There's no place like home, and I need a little piece. Big Beat Burger, here I come. But wait, who is this loon? What? Okay. Hide and seek for dummies. I'm being tailed. The last thing I need right now is a weirdo stalker following my every step. Did I take this investigation too far down a rabbit hole? I would like to go meet the weirdo, but we could also go mano a mano with this weirdo stalker, so I'll let you guys pick what you guys want to do. Both look insane. Both look crazy. Oh. As I said before, I'm a little cramped in my setup, so I keep stretching my back out because it's a little uncomfortable. Need a new chair as well. I don't know, I really want to do this one. This one seems like the fun one. She's the one who killed Sophie? Oh, that's right. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, this one. And again, I find myself at the entrance to my sanctuary. Current vibe, not exactly an embodiment of joie de vivre, but unburdened by my usual self-loathing. Adelaide, that's right. That's her name. Thank you. So many things I've forgotten about Coteries that I should definitely remember since I played it 4 times. Well, I didn't play it 4 times like in a row. I played it the first time I streamed, and then I played it 3 other times after that with months in between. So that's pretty bad. Beware, Big Beat Burger, something wicked this way cometh. And poof, just like that, my mood is ruined. All it took was a single step through the door. Frenetic woman? Is that a word? Frenetic? I love it if that's a word. I guess it means like a frenzied woman. God damn it. Some swivel-eyed loon took my seat. Her legs are crossed over the table, dirty shoes staining my chipboard altar. Oh, come on. Her clothing style is obviously meant to look eccentric and patchwork, but comes off as tragically derelict. There's nothing coincidental in her table chore, and it's not just because there's plenty of free spots tonight. She ogles me with those beady little eyes, daring me to come and try her. I give the guy at the till, Benny, I think his name was, a quick glance. No response. Unsurprising, he's a veteran. He knows better than to get involved. Is this supposed to be a message? Long shot, but a reminder of the Camarilla's watchful eye, maybe? Everything about this lady, her hairstyle, her mannerisms, lipstick smeared nowhere near her actual lips, screams lunatic. I'm not the type that fights tooth and nail to get the other bats out of her cave. But I'm not going to back down for no good reason either. I quietly take a seat right in front of her and wait. Yeah, you crazy haired weirdo hag. I can be patient too. We spend the next 5 minutes in silence. She just sits there and glares at me without blinking once. God damn it. Another few minutes go by, dragging on indefinitely. She's chewing some red bubblegum with a wide-eyed grin that makes Jack Nicholson's trademark smirk look like Mr. Rogers' beaming smile. Not gonna lie, chew, that munching chew is getting chew on my nerves. Let's keep our cool. I'm perfectly aware all this theatricality serves only one purpose, to get under my skin, make me act against my better judgment. It's chew, surprisingly effective, I'll give her that. But I'm not an idiot. I will just take the chill pill, try my best to remain in control. She uncrosses her legs in a strangely seductive motion. In her mind's eye, it probably looked like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct, but in reality, it had all the grace of a tracksuit Slav squatting. It seems we're going to be here a while longer. I pull out a cigarette from my crumpled package and I light it, casually, as if I wasn't bothered at all by the invader. Before I can take a single puff, the nut job snatches the cigarette out of my mouth. Don't mind if I do. Who do you... She cuts me off mid-sentence. Shh, no talking. You need to get back to your happy place. I try to hold the impetus to rip her face off. She picks up after a few seconds. I don't like you. I don't hate you either. Not yet, at least. Sheesh, I'm a good judge of character, but yours still eludes me. Get to the fucking point. She flicks the ash off the cigarette in a fluid motion and takes a long puff. No exhaling. The smoke comes out of her mouth while she speaks, like her intestines caught on fire. My special friend asked me to note your every step, judge your every move, and count your every failure. Believe me, when I started this job, I thought there would be a lot less counting. Who is she talking about? Panhard? Kadir? Torque? She tilts her head in an upsettingly canine manner. A tracksuit Slav squatting. I was expecting an option to snarkily say, I don't know that. I don't know that phrase. Little girl, I ran all sorts of charts and graphs on you, and they all pointed to the same result. Useless hussy. Can you help your sister out and illuminate me as to what all this fuss is about? Don't want to help? Come on, if you're a good doggy, you might get a biscuit. As if all that bullshit wasn't enough, she taps my nose like I'm some fucking puppy. Oh no, you didn't. You want to get nuts? Okay, let's get nuts. Yeah, let's get nuts. Ooh, we could dominate her. We could lash out. Come on, guys, let me lash out. I'll let you guys pick if you want to try and dominate her. I don't. Personally, I want to lash out because I didn't get to lash out before, and I want to lash out. I'll let you guys pick. I want to get nuts, you guys. Let's get nuts. Let's get crazy. You have to explain to me what that phrase means, Mac Thompson Brown. I like how these people are always the same people they're eating in the cafe. Yay! Everyone lets me lash out. We have 3 lash outs, a calm down, and a dominate. Yes, I'm gonna lash out. Don't you dare. Don't you dare touching me again. Don't you dare touch me again. There we go. No, I don't want to be smart. I want to lash out. You try that again, and I will break your arms. Get out. Now, get out. She seems genuinely surprised by my reaction. She blinks twice with almost comical timing. Then she lets out a short, cartoonish laugh. She keeps laughing as she stands up and blows me a kiss on her way to the exit. Toodaloo, sweetie pie. The doors close behind her, the loud bubblegum chewing finally gone, the cheap bubblegum smell inexplicably lingering, along with a lot of less savory aromas. A dejected staff member approaches with a much-needed air freshener and some antibacterial spray in tow. He gives me a knowing look and sighs. I shrug my arms empathetically and leave him to do his job. I don't feel like sticking around anymore. Come on, I wanted something more. I wanted someone to let me go nuts. Okay. I understand. It's time to get back to work. I step inside the subway and head for my meeting with Kadir. Oh, for fuck's sake, I thought you were kidding. Nope, I couldn't reach her, but I know for a fact Hope is there. He's pointing in the direction of a double spiral building. And what is she doing there? I understand she's the current leader of the company, acting CEO to be exact. No, you're pulling my leg. Of all the places in this city, the company that brags about creating IT solutions of the future, always surrounded by rumors of monstrous workers' abuse, all sorts of ethical violations, trading information with governments, and ending the career of a certain promising journalist and professional fuck-up who attempted to investigate them seriously. You might be able to ask her both professional and personal questions. 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't get it. Last time I checked, the company belonged to Kara Montgomery. I'm told she quietly took a sabbatical a few months ago, and it sure looks like the kind of sabbatical you don't come back from. Sudden change of heart. Kadir rolls his eyes.
The Clan of Kings is not exactly known for having regrets about their ruthless pursuit of power, is it? Clan of Kings obviously being the Ventrue. I remember I was shocked when I first learned that one of my nemeses back in my old life was a vampire all along. When I realized her position made her untouchable to me, I was beyond mad. Well, whatever happened, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. What about her brother, Jesse? You're asking me? Last I checked, you were the expert on this company. I just handled the basic intel for you, even though I shouldn't even really be here. Yeah, and I hope you realize I am grateful. You'd better be. So is Hope just another corporate shark? Well, she is the child of Carter. Ah, interesting. A theatrical pause. He smiles as he sees me wince. But very much unlike him. He took her in for her particular multifaceted talents related to the internet, knowing he's hopelessly behind the times in that regard. I hear she's been unruly, though. Well, unruly is good. I can work with unruly. So you're telling me she might not be a stuck-up startup bitch? Language. As I've told you a few times now, when it comes to the internet, I just assume I haven't the slightest idea. I'm getting there myself. I haven't been able to check my email for 5 months. I have no idea what the kids at BBB are talking about most of the time. Oh my god, I might be getting old. Relatable. Don't worry. The moment you realize you don't give a damn about most fads you would have cared about years ago is a liberating one. Been there, done that, at the beginning of the 20th century. Old. Anyway, you'll probably hear Hope's story straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have much time, so I'll get straight to the point. You shouldn't be looking at anything in the main building. It's just the front. Ignore it. What you want to do is use the elevators to get to the lowest floor of the building. Psh, I heard stories about the double spiral basement, but I had no idea what to make of them. Every source told me a different rumor. Did any of them tell you a rumor about an army of underground ghouls? No, but I'm all ears. Double Spiral employs an army of ghouls as a cheap workforce. They work and live underground, away from prying eyes, with lesser rights than the regular kind employees. Perfect for business. Wow. I'm actually speechless for a second. I had profoundly low expectations at that company, but every time I learn something new about what's going on behind the scenes, I'm still surprised at the level of scumbaggery at play. I'll leave the moral judgments to you, expert. In any case, you need to reach room number 507, where the CEO supposedly resides. And then, get Hope to answer your questions. His old-timey flip phone vibrates. Speaking of, if you've got any left for me, it's now or never. I'm needed at the art hole now. What's the security? What's the best approach? Can I just ask her normally? What's the best approach? How should I approach the building? Oh, I meant what's the best approach to talking to Hope. Never mind. I've told you everything I know. Just do what I do all the time. Yeah, I know. That's why I misunderstood what I was asking. All right. And that is, scout the situation, then decide. Great, thanks. Right, I forgot that's what you do all the time. You mean scouting? No, stating the obvious. Exactly. The phone vibrates again. Well, that's it for me. Arturo is pestering me to show up at the Elysium 5 minutes ago. Tell him I kindly suggest he should go fuck himself. Not in 1,000 years. Well, good luck with your mission, soldier. With a mock salute, he disappears inside his car and drives away. Nothing left for me to do but head in. Still, I'm anxious. There are 2 approaches to choose from, and whichever I pick, I will have to stick with it. If I force my way in and assert my authority, bad cop style, that should make an impression. Bad bitch coming in with the entire court behind her back, bluffing her way to victory. Sneaking in and politely asking for cooperation seems like the less disruptive, more me option, but it's not like being me has taken me anywhere thus far. Shit. I kinda wish I was still stuck in my routine where I didn't need to be doing things like developing a personality. It's a bit of a coin flip, honestly, but I gotta make a choice here. How do I approach Double Spiral? I would say we should stay covert, as opposed to aggressive, but I'll let you guys give me your input on that. Because, I don't know, it just seems like a bad idea. Because we're alone. We don't really have any actual backup. Oh, God. God, I can't believe I've already been streaming for an hour. It goes by so fast. Because it's so freaking enjoyable, this game. Absolutely love it. Also, there's cops down there. It's probably not a good idea to be going busting in anywhere. They might see us. Covert? Good. Hey, look, chat, we agree on something. See, I just needed to lash out once. I don't need to lash out all the time. Just gotta let me do it every once in a while. Trait updated. And being aggressive is not me. I don't even want to think about the headaches I'd have to deal with. So I'm loyal to the end, I'm glass half full, and not into the bad cop shtick. Great. Can't see my own button here. The less disruptive I am, the better the chance they won't get pissed off at me, and I do need Hope to be cooperative. This good cop approach should pay off eventually. Alright, let's do this. I don't feel like my traits are very Lasombra. I cloak myself in shadows and let my instinct take over. The lobby isn't well lit, so it's not hard to get behind the lone security guard. He does notice something is wrong with the security cameras and hits the display a few times, but once he's done, I'm already inside an emergency staircase and making the descent. The doors to the deepest floor are locked, but it takes just a bit of brute force. And I'm inside. Hello, Double Spiral. Thought you wouldn't see me again, huh? Assholes. I look around and find an emergency evacuation map. Bullseye. Looks like all the information I need is here. There it is, room 507. Hello. Someone comes around. It looks like one of Hope's nerdy ghouls is here to sniff around, but I'm already in the shadows. I slink away as she starts patrolling the corridor, checking if everything is okay. Cameras, body heat sensors, electronic locks. Still, I'm managing. I remain cautious just like Kadir would want me to, but it's surprisingly easy for me to avoid security. Progressing towards room 507 is far easier than I expected. I reach the double spiral offices where, just like Kadir said, hordes of ghouls are slaving away for their company. Deep learning, spyware, social media manipulation, yada yada. The important thing right now is everyone is staring at their own screen, so it's easy for me to keep sneaking. Hi, what does this say? Jesus loves something? Aside from the fact she still seems to be on my trail, only slowed by the fact she's thorough in her search, I'd better pick up the pace. And there it is, the final corridor. Time to announce myself. I slowly walk to the end of the corridor. There it is, room 507. I love this! This is so good! Draw distance. You guys are amazing! This is so good. I love it. The door looks harder to take care of than the other ones in this place. Probably won't be able to take care of it the same way I did the others. The door to the office of the current double spiral CEO. This fucking company. I get pissed off, but I'm trying to control it. There's a camera by the door. If she knows what to look for, she can probably see I'm here on her screen. But just to make sure, I knock on the door. Nightcore? Yeah, could be. I couldn't really tell. Hope? I'm a Camarilla detective, and I need you to answer some questions. Hope, I know you're in there. Open the door. I will not leave until you do. I'm here on behalf of the Sheriff of New York City. Hope? I keep pounding on the door and calling her name. After a minute or so, a voice rings out in the intercom. Is this thing on? I guess it is. All right, I got your message loud and clear. I'll meet you in the offices. I'll be right there. Looks like you made it past poor Nastya. Get back to the offices and keep her company. She's probably beyond pissed off about you eluding her grasp, but don't make it a big deal, okay? Thank you for your cooperation. I'll be right there. What's up? On the other hand, clothes you could reasonably expect to find in any CEO's wardrobe. On one hand, I think that should have said, a body covered in tattoos, flashy jewelry, dyed hair, and wild makeup. She looks an awful lot like Dakota. The thought that she might be yet another CEO playing the nonconformist crosses my mind, but she strikes me as someone who's more than happy to live in her own little bubble. Still, I won't be fooled. She is the boss of Double Spiral. So, how did you find me? Sheriff Kadir Al-Azmai did. You'd have to ask him. I take out a new cigarette without thinking. You can't smoke in here, lady. Just let her. Don't treat me like I'm your enemy. I come in peace. A deep, relaxing drag. So when did you realize I was here? Right at the start. There was a moment laser malfunction. Lasted a second or two. Hasn't tripped an alarm, but I guess something was off. That's it? Hunches have gotten me every job I've ever had. Hunches saved my life anytime I got into a messy situation. These days, the reality is too complicated to rely on anything else. Can't find a better head of security than our Nastia, and her hunches are the main reason why. They're like a sixth sense. Don't I know you from somewhere? What's that sixth sense? I'm curious about that sixth sense. Is that a ghoul thing? Nah, it's like a spy-like thing that borders on second sight. James Bond spotting a hidden knife in someone's shoe. Jack Bauer suddenly realizing you hate America. That kind of thing. Where did you train that, second sight? Nastia shrugs. It's just like making good music, lady. 50% hard work, 50% psychedelics. Oh, I'll take your word for it. Lovely chat, girls, but I'd love it if you saved it for later. I'm CEO now. I have a lot of duties I must pretend to handle. I just need to ask you a few questions. Sure, yeah. Call me if you need me. I've got a weird hunch about this one, too. Don't worry, I'll disappear as quietly as I arrived. Yeah, I'd prefer to be sure that you left, lady, so that I can report it to my boss. We'll talk security later. Don't worry, this shit happens. For now, take 5. Nastia leaves, and I'm left alone with Hope in the corner of the office. It feels funny to stand here in front of you. Oh, and why is that? You people had me fired from my job before I was embraced. Ah, I see. You're that Sawinski girl from Lotus Star. Yeah. Somehow I never put 2 and 2 together. So you're the Lasombra rep for the city now, huh? As she's talking to me, she keeps tapping at her phone with terrifying speed. I don't feel like I have her full focus, and it's getting on my nerves. Just so you know, I have no idea why you've taken Kara Montgomery's place, and I doubt you'd tell me, but the bitch deserves to burn in hell. Hell yeah, she does. Wait, did you just admit? Hold your horses. No, Jesus, this is why normal CEOs pay for PR people to talk for them. I only agreed that she's a horrible person in every way that counts. Nothing more. Does she know that's what you think of her? Why did she let you take her position in the first place? What? I will just cut through the bullshit, okay, Miss Lotus Star? I guess this is all about Jesse and Kara covering his creepy ass. You've spent months on this case and you'd like some closure. Pretty much. Well, here's your closure. Double Spiral has severed practically all ties with them. They don't work here, they get no company money, they probably won't ever show up here again. The company's not their circus anymore, and the workers are not their monkeys. I'm in charge now. So yeah, if there's anything you'd like from me, I'm all ears. It wasn't just Jesse and his sister. This company has ingrained structures of abuse and immoral. I've ordered internal investigations and audits. Everyone related to those illicit activities were disciplined. Legal actions, firings, and rebukes, all depending on the severity of their misdemeanors. I don't have a stomach for all that creepy corporate shit, so I'm trying to steer the ship in the right direction. Don't know what else I can tell you. For fuck's sake. No matter how I look at it, seems like she's done everything I hope to achieve. The Montgomery clan is over. The clan? The queen bitch, a symbol of everything that's wrong with tech CEOs, is gone. Jesse, that perverted, embezzling son of a bitch, is gone. I should be glad, so. Why is there a sinking pit in my stomach? So that's capitalism, huh? Is it? I think it's something worse. When I look at the online world, I don't see capital ruling us. I only see incomprehensible vectors, unknown entities, constantly opening and closing various markets of information. This is something worse than what familiar 20th century terminology taught us. I don't know what it is, but it's terrifying. And it will continue until we give it a name, but But you look like you need emotional support, not my depressing philosophizing. Well, shit sucks and I'm sorry. The biggest case in my professional life, solved by some weirdo who fucked Kara and Jesse over in presumably underhanded ways. It doesn't get more anticlimactic than this. Fucking hell. I want to ask her how she did it, but why would she tell me? All I can guess is she's an outcast who decided to get her hands dirty and obtain power to do something she considered good. Something I've always been afraid to do. Anyway, I feel for you, but I have a lot of work to do, so if this wasn't just a trip down memory lane and you have any other questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, okay? I feel like a car just ran me over, but I need to keep my shit together. Right. A few days ago, the Anarch Baron was found dead in his office. Are you familiar with the case? Douglas Callahan. Of course I'm familiar. Every kindred online is talking about it. And what are they saying? They're accusing everyone. I mean, it is the internet. Are they accusing you? Why would they do that? I found a peculiar note in Callahan's remains. It had your name on it. Huh? What can you say about this? Nothing. I never met the guy. Never even seen him. He wasn't my crowd. Then why would he have a note with your name in his pocket? Why were Walt Disney's last written words Kurt Russell? No clue. I watch her closely, but nothing suggests she's hiding anything. Well, the note actually contained 3 other names and nothing else. Agathon, D'Angelo, Tamika. Ringing any bells now? Her finger, which hasn't stopped moving across the phone touchscreen since I first saw her, freezes. Yeah, it kind of does, actually. It's a short list of promising unaffiliated kindred that was making the rounds in NYC a few months ago, in case anyone needed a hero for hire. I didn't know Callahan had it. I know Sophie Langley did, as well as a few Primogen. Not sure about the Anarchs. Who could have prepared this list? One of the local information brokers. So Nosferatu. A short but telling pause. Anonymous. How anonymous? Sort of anonymous? She's obviously conflicted about whether she should tell me. Or maybe she's pretending so that I worm it out of her. I've been a good sport ever since I walked through her door. Maybe appealing to her sense of morality will work. I really need your help. I want to prevent the tensions between the local anarchs and the court from escalating, and every lead helps. She briefly considers her options, then gives up. It's my sire, Carter Vandervaden. Oh. He's brokering information? Everyone knows becoming the Prince of New York is his ultimate goal, and that he wants to make friends in all the high places. Sharing useful intel is a pretty effective way to achieve that. So you're telling me that he, a Malkavian Primogen, sold this list to an Anarch Baron. Sure looks like it. Why would he suggest his own child to somebody? To have a person on the inside, just another way to further his information web. Wouldn't they realize you two are close? The story going around is he left me alone and I hate his guts. Well, at least half of that is true. She's talkative, probably sees me as a way to undermine Carter. Let's see how much further I can push her. Huh. I was wondering how someone like you could control a company like Double Spiral. I suppose a friend in high places would explain it. Yeah, lucky me. Not happy about ruining Montgomery? I know I'd be on cloud 9 if I did that. Oh, I was beyond happy. It's just that it's something different now. She stares at dozens of displays on the wall in front of her. Do you remember the Y2K era internet? Jesus, I barely remember the internet at all. My people can't really use it. But yeah, I guess, sort of. Forums, GeoCities, browser wars, all those handmade amateurish web pages. I remember that, because I'm that old. It was a golden age. Everyone was welcome to freely express their creativity and obsessions in this abstract new frontier. No formulated rules. Every site was a distinct new universe to explore. You know, as a kid, for some reason, I kept saving every web page that moved or changed me in some way. I don't even know why I did it, but today a folder with these is one of my greatest treasures. Fast forward to today, I'm the boss of a company that has one overarching goal: steer the online narrative in every possible way that benefits the Camarilla. And because the online world is so fucked right now, I can do it using only 5 websites or so. Every day I deploy thousands of believable sock puppets to force some belief on the masses. Right now they are being managed by these ghouls. Soon they will be partially managed by AI. Basically an all-American version of the Chinese 50-cent party, a new pattern of public opinion guidance. Ever since I was a teen, I pretended to be different people online for fun. Aping the posting patterns of others was something I turned out to be horrifyingly good at. I became even better at it after the embrace, something about the voice of Malkov in my head. After several years, I became a one-person internet empire. I could impersonate anyone. Oh god, I dream of tulips. A humble florist from Chattanooga who strives to share positive energy with their audience using photos of beautiful bouquets, motivational quotes, and the occasional The Office gif. A single mom from Brighton who reckons all these trans women must be bonkers and spends seemingly every waking moment of her life having a row with anyone who disagrees. Sorry. That voice is killing my throat. A 19-year-old kid from Utah who keeps posting Y2K 3D renders of poorly proportioned, scantily clad ladies and telling his audience to remember what they took from you. Somehow this talent got me here, where it's no longer fun but work. Work I usually entrust to these ghouls because of all my duties. I want to get out before my entire fucking mind gets monetized. But Carter won't have that, so I keep doing my best for both him and Double Spiral's investors. So that's why she wants me to look at him. I assume most of your operations focus on New York City. A lot of them, yeah. How do you imitate a New Yorker voice with these sock puppet accounts? Living in Manhattan and being mentally unstable makes this shit easy. To a normal, well-adjusted person from outside the city, everyone here seems mentally unstable. Ever watch that 9/11 Howard Stern show? No. Check it out someday. It's educational. Ask anyone in New York City about it, and they're like, it was a great bonding moment. He was helping us make sense of everything. He kept saying what we were all thinking. Then you listen to it, and it's everyone yelling that we need to nuke something. Maybe the entire world. Get rid of all the Muslims. Fuck human rights. No investigations. Take their oil. Cheery. I don't actually know what Howard Stern is a person I've never actually listened to. How old was I in 2001? God, 13, I think. You watch it, you study it, you witness that specific brand of humor in the face of tragedy, and you understand that nothing outside of New York City really exists for the people who live here, or the vampires. A foundational text, really. Whenever I need to get in that New York mindset for work, I let it play in the background. Works like a charm. Seriously, give it a shot sometime. Someday I might. For now, I think I will confront Vander Vaden with what you've told me. Or is it what you haven't told me? What's the story? Me? Of course I haven't told you anything. You're such a good investigator, you figured it out all by yourself. And if he asks, just tell him Kaiser sold you the info. That should do the trick. I see. Thank you. What for? I did nothing. Let Nastia show you out. And if you don't know Vander Vaden's address, just ask her. Okay, back on the subway it is. Back to the moon as well. Thank you for having me, Mr. Vander Vaden. No need, no need. I'll be happy to assist your investigation in whatever way I can, Miss Sawinski. That sickeningly sweet smile, and this office, spacious but oppressive. Here's a man who knows how to subtly unnerve people, but does he even realize it? And I'm sure the presence of the esteemed Addison Payne will guarantee I'm totally transparent. Am I right, Addison? Sorry, that phase, such a grumpy phase. Looks like I've interrupted a friendly meeting in the far corner of the room. I spot glasses of blood and 2 spittoons, vices and follies of the rich. Are you sure I'm not wasting your time? Not at all. Busy as I might be, I can't say I'm not curious about the findings in the case. Yes, my thoughts exactly. So how are you handling your newfound responsibilities? I'm managing. I'll start by asking the obvious. Where were you the night Douglas Callahan met his, untimely demise? Vander Vaden raises an eyebrow and then lets out a restrained chuckle. Probably Carter freaks me out. He probably eats children or something. That smile is so creepy. That's why I sort of give him an out of my voice, Gary, if, I don't know, old time radio on a lot of cocaine voice. Addison is so great. He does. He looks so grumpy. Hear that, Addison? I might be suspected of foul play. Exciting, isn't it? Carter, no antics, please. Just answer the question. Of course. Well, I was right here, just like I told Prince Panhard. As much as I love to celebrate my power, sometimes one has to celebrate the amount of work piling up on their desk. So your alibi is you were right here. Alibi? Ha! Yes, I suppose. Can anyone back up your story? Well, I did make a few business-related phone calls as I was working, so there's that. That doesn't really answer my question, does it? He regards me with a stare reserved for a troublesome child. Miss Owinski, this right here is my private little fortress, a space specifically designed to make me focus. I don't really let people in to break my focus. Aside from occasional esteemed guests, such as yourselves, of course, and a few wonderful Mexican women responsible for the cleaning duties. So you don't have an alibi. The look in his eyes screams, why won't you at least pretend to try and get on board with my program, kid? I suppose, but why would that matter? Because I found something that belongs to you on the victim's person. Pardon me? Took the words right out of my mouth. We're not talking a murder weapon or something of that caliber, of course. No, it was a short list of 4 names, unaffiliated kindred whose services could be useful to anyone interested in toppling the current power balance in NYC. Tamika, Hope, D'Angelo, Agathon. Excuse me, Miss Owinski, but I'm afraid I don't follow. How is that something that belongs to me? I have it on good authority that it's a short list you've been shopping around to anyone interested here in NYC, be it the Camarilla or the Anarchs. Addison tenses up, and his host is not happy about it. This is just preposterous. I'm calling your bluff right here, miss. No, the bluff is coming right now. Mr. Van der Weyden, if you want to voice your concerns about the information I have, how about you voice them to Kaiser, not me? Addison turns to Van der Weyden, clenching his lips and gripping his wheelchair armrest tightly. Oh, thank you, Araxiel. It's a hard voice to do. For a brief moment, the ever-present smile on Van der Weyden's face goes missing, and the expression that replaces it reminds me of a horrifying void. Like a sneak peek into what's really going on in his soul. He quickly collects himself, but the image is burned into my retinas. To think these sorts of unsavory rumors are circulating around me. I should be grateful you let me know. So you're denying it? Of course I'm denying it, categorically. You can bet your life savings on it. I certainly hope it's nothing more than an unfortunate blunder. Et tu, Brute? Come on, Addison. We've known each other for years. Yes, and what about it? I will. Sweet Jesus, Addison, I will get back to you in a second. Any more questions, Miss Owinski? Any of the names on the list sound familiar to you? No, I mean, yes, that is my long-estranged child on your list, but that's just another reason why I'm flabbergasted anyone would consider it mine. I see. Well, I hope you understand why I'm considering you a prime suspect now. Yes, and I swear to clear my name as soon as possible. Scout's honor. Any more questions? I'm good for now. Sheriff Al-Azmai will probably contact you later. I will get in touch with him myself, ASAP. Once again, thank you for your work. He extends his hand toward me, practically forcing me to shake it. Then he puts his hand on my shoulder to lead me to the door. All too eager to see me off? Out of sheer curiosity, Mr. Van der Weyden, I have one more question. It may be a bit random. I really didn't need to ask it, but I wanted him to die inside for a moment. Of course, my dear. His slightly strained tone suggests I may have succeeded. You seem like a person who couldn't live outside of NYC. By chance, have you listened to Howard Stern's talk show after the World Trade Center fell? A tad unsure, but once again, carefully controlled chuckle escapes his mouth. Geez, that is random. But, well, New York, born and raised, just like you said? Of course I did. Your opinion? Same as everyone else, it was the spiritual guidance we needed that day, coming from the unlikeliest of places. A visceral response that verbalized everything we felt. A beautiful moment of unity. Not that I'm into lowbrow jokes about Pamela Anderson and the typical shock value that show tended to offer, but as far as I'm concerned, Howard did an indispensable thing that day. Why are you asking? No particular reason. I thought it might give me some insight into the kind of person you are. Well, that's the kind of person I am. Just your average New Yorker. So it seems. Well then, I'll leave you and Mr. Payne to your plans of conquering the city. Conquering the... Now that's spicy. Addison, I love this girl. She's gonna go far, I'm telling you. She's got that spunk, that glit in her eye. Goodbye, Miss Sawinski. I wish you a pleasant respite and a swift success in your investigation. Good night. I make it a point to bow to Addison's servant, not the man himself. Doubt he even noticed, but at least these invisible displays of rebellion make me feel a little better about myself. All right, the faster I leave, the better. Oh, God. Julia? Father? How are you holding up? I'm fine, stumbling around and hoping for a miracle to happen, like always. No better place to ask for a miracle than behind these gates, you know. So I hear. As I pass him the report about Aisling and Agathon, I look around, but Benoit is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, let's just ignore it. We don't want to say his name too many times and then he appears like Beetlejuice. I decide to stay silent and simply bask in the happiness of something good finally happening in my own life. But of course, it doesn't last for long. I sent Benoit away because I wanted to talk to you about him. I knew it. Father Leonard, more like Daddy Leonard. I know, right? Gorgeous. Damn those vows of chastity. I'm kidding. Or am I? Placate him how exactly? Benoit won't accept anything less than me joining a convent. He's like a worried parent. A basic gesture here and there, showing up in church from time to time, and pretending to listen would get him off your case. I mean, I've been through this song and dance before with my own worried parents when I was a teenager. Wandering in the forest until Mass was over, not even being able to smoke because they'd pick up the scent. Not the best moments of my life, you know, and part of the reason I'm distancing myself from them. I don't need this fake energy in my life, and I'm honestly weirded out by you asking me to lie. I'm not asking you to lie, Julia. Let me ask you this way. Are you a spiritual person? I guess I am, kind of. Always was. Suddenly being able to see ghosts did not change a thing. I think it's mostly because seeing the world as purely material seemed boring to me somehow. You are, and you were raised Catholic, so can't you find a way to express that spirituality in our church? I don't see a way right now. And why is that? I sigh. Too many people who'd think my soul needs to be saved because I live with a woman, for starters. Well, that's not where I'd start first. I'd start first that I was an undead monster who feeds on people, but all right. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons. Like the sin of drinking blood every other night, or feeling some primal fear whenever I walk by a clergyman whose faith seems to actually be genuine. That one sounds like an excuse. It's about your relationship with God, not other people. In theory, but back in the old country, I've heard my share of homilies that felt like complete condemnations of my kind, and none that would condemn hate toward people like me. Why they all tolerate fanatically Christian kindred who breaks Masquerade and goes to every priest available. Benoit's such a Masquerade breach. Yeah, I know. I don't really get that. That's the thing. That's the thing that I find really weird, or I don't necessarily understand how it's working in modern nights. It must be really dangerous as a kindred in modern nights to associate with the Catholic Church in any capacity just because of the Second Inquisition threat. And you know, when church-adjacent people try to stir shit around your very existence every few months, some minimal support would be appreciated. Sorry, all you can count on is silent complicity. I get it. I know there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of undeserved hurt going around, but... Listen, I don't even want to talk about it. I fucking hate the tone I use when I talk about it. I sound preachier than those preachers, and my biggest damn dream is to just not give a shit. But remember But I remember things. Like this story about a guy from my hometown. Most macho guy around with a jaw you could sharpen a knife on. He became an actor in Warsaw. Very successful, deservedly so. I don't know if Warsaw is how you say it. Here in Germany we call it Warschau, but I'm not exactly sure. The capital might not be NYC, but it still is a big city, and big cities go to the heads of bumpkins like us. In his case, it resulted in a dream of coming out to his parents. I get that it's the Lasombra shtick, but random emo Toreador zealot is such a masquerade breach. Yeah. Yeah, even more so. Oh, Benoit. He was surrounded by all these stories of openly queer people, played one even, so he thought he had a chance at making it work. So he goes back to his town, tells everyone he's going to live his truth. His dad, a ruling party adjacent businessman, curses him. His uncle takes him into the bushes and starts to destroy him physically. It's so bad he gets put into the ICU. His face and jaw get ruined for good. Fast forward a year or two, with his career over, the guy is stuck in his parents' rustic house. With no other path to follow, he turns to God, who tells him to forgive his kin? Yeah, forgive his kin. Okay, I get it. I would be afraid he would turn against vampires or just go crazy, but zealots, religious people just creeps me out, to be honest. Yeah, well, here's the thing about what Benoit is trying to achieve. If he is a kindred with true faith, it's entirely possible. There's another kindred like that. What is his name? Anatole. He's friends with Beckett, sort of. He's a Malkavian, and he has true faith as a kindred. Could be what he's trying to achieve. Everything is fine again. Angelic choirs sing of divine mercy. A kind-looking priest talks about protecting our families. A man sits in the front row of the church, a disfigured smile on his face. But that story alone didn't drive me away. One time when I saw how blissful he was, I could swear he was actually able to hear God whispering to him. He looked like a saint. It fucked me up so bad, I left. I feel nauseated now. Maybe I'm still reeling from hearing about Kara and Jesse Montgomery. Now, if we could never talk about it again, that'd be great. I know that I tend to sound like a loser who loves to pontificate about shit I can't change, but I at least keep trying to change myself, damn it. I won't offer empty platitudes, but I think I understand what I was meant to understand. I hope I haven't insulted you in any way. Whatever. I've learned not to hold people responsible for what the rest of their organization is doing. It would be hard looking in the mirror otherwise, which you can't do because you're a Lasombra. Not that there's much I can see in the mirror right now. I'm just wondering about one thing. There is always a cross on your chest. I like how it goes with my outfit. Is it just a fashionable accessory to you? Yeah, the Malkavian Crusader. That's correct. Good night, Father. Have a good night, Father. I find her sitting in bed, scrolling through Pinterest on her phone. So how are you doing, detective? I fall on the bed, bury my face in the pillows, and scream. That's a mood. That bad, huh? I don't want to tell her about Double Spiral. I still have to figure out how I feel about it. I'm just not cut out for this. Oh, shut up. If you aren't, who is? Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, who someone told me is a character from Agatha Christie books, Columbo, Mads Mikkelsen's boyfriend from Hannibal, whatever his name was, I don't know. Someone who can actually put two and two together. You can't fool me into believing you're incompetent, you dumbass. I've read your articles. Don't pretend you suddenly forgot how to do your job. I haven't, but I've got no evidence, no witnesses, no promising leads, nothing. I just stumble around, assuming things, talking big. Blech. So you're like, I don't know, Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, and he actually solved his case. And then wished he never took it up. Was that supposed to cheer me up? I'm just saying that the situation you're in sounds an awful lot like Chinatown. Depraved elites, big plans for the city, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and that's depressing. It is what it is. I just think you should approach it this way and look for a solution to your problems outside of the box. Not as a mystery, maybe, like a trap to escape. Maybe. I throw myself on the bed again and lie there for a bit, staring at the ceiling. Then I approach Dakota from behind and tug her sleeve to draw her attention. Psst, hey. Put the phone away. Now? Come on, Jules, we can't do this every night. I've got my own work, and I need to worry about anemia. You said so yourself. Besides, I was just looking for inspiration. I rub against her clothes with my face like a cat. You're impossible. Haven't you noticed what's going on in the news? People are going absolutely insane about this virus. Oh no, oh god, really? Okay, we got a mention of it. Canceling trips and orders, and that's insane. Yeah. Pretty please? I can't, honey. I have to replenish my stash, and besides, I'm worried about overuse. My brain is working a bit too slow. My balance is off. I was just thinking how I miss meditation. She's giving me clear signals she just wants an excuse, and even though it would be the responsible thing to do, I know she's insatiable. She's usually the one who takes the initiative. She said no a couple of times, and I'm feeling like this is weird that you're pushing it. Corona time, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a goth thing, Father. Let's try a final push. I bite her ear and whisper in it. No drugs tonight. Let's do this raw. Oh, that's sexy. She throws her hands up in the air. Victory. Jesus, you're greedy these days. Always have been. Haven't you noticed? I got another achievement, but I missed it because I have something blocking that little corner of my screen. I can't believe there was a corona mention. That's so weird. Yeah, it was a little creepy. She said no twice, and then third time was a yes. I don't know. This is gonna be a weird thing to say, but sometimes I feel like with women can be a little pushier like that, and it's not frowned on as much, and it should be. It should be the same. No means no, no matter who's saying no, no matter what the situation is. No means no. It's very simple. It's not two no's and a yes means yes, but whatever. Oh, you're up early. Yeah, told you, got work to do. I stretch. That's admirable. Reminds me of that one quote you always used to throw around. A lot of people say you can't smoke dope and get drunk when you got kids. That's not true. You can, but you still gotta get up in the morning. That's being responsible. That's the one. I never understood why it was so hilarious to you. Neither did I. I just accepted the mystery and made it my personal credo. I'm a responsible person. Are you planning to have kids? Not in a million years. By the way, you've got mail. An envelope by the door. It's from Kadir. Inside is a message saying he won't be able to make it tonight, but will rendezvous tomorrow to meet D'Angelo. He wants me to lay low until then and to stay in this apartment if possible. Apparently nobody knows where Tamika is. They only know she's in trouble and he doesn't want me near it. No, Tamika was my favorite. Well, what is it? Kadir needs me. Kadir has already prepared the next list of chores for me. I swear to God. I thought you were investigating. You know how it is. They never cared how overworked I am. I need to go. She doesn't want to stay in this apartment, obviously. It would be fun to spend some more time together, you know. Dakota, you know this is important to me. I know, but I'd like to know I'm important to you as well. That makes two of us. Just a few more days. I will find the killer, kick his ass, get a promotion, and we'll do something we've never done before. Like what? Good question. I'll think of something. For now, catch up with your work. I need to get going. Fine. Good luck. Stay safe. You know it. This place is weirdly empty tonight. We're back at the BBB or whatever it's called. I'm so happy with LGBT representation, but constantly feeding off your drugged girlfriend is kind of, yeah, it's a little, iffy. Is it just me, or does Dakota give off some spying on you for Panhard vibes? Dakota gives off something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but she seems to be a lot more intuitive about the inner workings of the Camarilla than she really should, as someone who is kind and not kindred. Oh well. I'll have the usual. I feel there's a big, what are we doing in this relationship talk coming if I don't change my Oh, hiccup. That's what happens when I read too much. If I don't change my ways. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it hasn't already happened, but most of the time Dakota has seemed happy enough just listening to the stories of my own life. Even if it's all boring and normal to me, it's exotic and engrossing to her. Guess I have that going for me. Ah, well. I have no idea what to do tonight, so I'll just do the obvious thing and wing it. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it, or however it went. Time to lose myself in these busy streets and pray that the answers I'm looking for are out there. And if they're not, maybe I'll at least find some amusement or blood instead. Alright, so we got Prince of Cats. I need to resolve this thing with Dakota, as if going around in circles on behalf of the court wasn't stressful enough. Maybe a visit to some quiet neighborhood will help clear my head. I don't know what Prince of Cats has to do with anything. Or camera shyness. No, I don't want to be part of your goddamn interview. Look, can I not be bothered for one goddamn second? You're not listening. Both of these sound really weird, but I want to do the one with Prince of Cats because I love cats. So. But I'll let you guys pick. Camera or cats? I'll let you guys pick. This is probably going to be, just so you know, the last little quest thingy that we do for today. Just because I'm dying over here in my throat. Doing Hope's voice that long was too much. And then having to do Carter's right afterwards. Also, there's a really gross bug in this room. Disgusting. Cat. All right, let's do cat. I don't know what either of them mean, but it has cat in the title, so I love cats. Oh, isn't this where the Thin Blood Primogen lives? Robert whatever? Lawson? There it is, that distinct vibe of Manhattan's residential area. Sniff. And an unmistakable scent of casserole enveloping the surroundings in a heavenly aura. The atmosphere of desolation makes it feel more like purgatory, though. There's not a single soul in sight, and... oh, crap. Looks like I'm not alone after all. Some guy exerts himself climbing a nearby tree. I instinctively take a step into the shadows to remain outside his line of sight, but I can barely see anything from where I stand. Move closer. My inner voyeur is squirming for more details. I move a few steps closer, keeping to the shadows. For a good while, all I can hear is heavy panting. Come on, dude. This oak isn't even that tall. Sure looks like it's the first time the guy ever tried climbing a tree. I couldn't climb a tree if my life depended on it. I would have no idea where to begin. It takes a long time for the mysterious trespasser to steady his breath and carry on. As soon as he crawls out of the tree's crown, the dim streetlights reveal the face of a young guy in his early 20s. It must be the Thin Blood Primogen, right? Against the spectacular night sky, with his exaggeratedly tormented romantic gaze, he truly looks like a hero befitting the cover of a Harlequin paperback. Are those still a thing? I remember seeing those in grocery stores when I was a kid. A Harlequin romance book still a thing in the States? He sizes up one of the longer branches. It seems sturdy enough and nearly reaches a narrow window on the second floor. Still, the guy is hesitant. Okay. All right, no biggie. Just eyes on the prize. He moves a few steps along the branch, his feet slipping every other step on his way to the window. By some inexplicable fluke, he manages to keep his balance, so not the Thin Blood Primogen, obviously. Once he makes it far enough, the branch slowly bends under his weight. He kneels down, probably calculating his chances to make it over to the windowsill. My brain is so much the video of Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades. Oh, yeah. My inner goddess has stopped dancing. I love Gilbert Gottfried. My guy, if you pull this off, it will be a legit miracle. What? Is somebody there? Oh shit. Should have been more careful. The trespasser pivots rapidly, startled by the sound of my voice. Just as he notices me, he loses his footing and dives straight into the front yard of the nearest house. Oh shit. He drops to the ground with a muffled thump. Luckily for him, the lawn hasn't been trimmed for a while, and the tall grass cushions his landing, somewhat. As soon as he recovers, the guy gets up and starts limping toward the fence. He tries to climb over, but quickly ends up back on the ground, clutching his leg in pain. He turns to me and starts begging under his nose. Hey, you. Ouch, shit, please. I'm hurt. Do me a solid and open the gate. Well, with his ankle twisted, he's not going to get out of this mess on his own. And it's not like I'm particularly law-abiding. Let's not break the gate lock. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to do here. Let the residents know he's here? That seems shitty. Leaving him there seems shitty. Breaking the gate lock seems like my only option here that's not shitty. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's weird. What a weird set of choices. Very confused. What is she gonna do to let the residents know he's here? Which is the one that's making me laugh the most. It's just like shout out to them like, yo, somebody tried to break into your house. Want me to rough them up? Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. I see potence in the chat. Okay, let's break the gate lock then. Let's be kind. Boom. So why shouldn't I help him? Just stay where you are. Don't move. I don't know how to... And shut the fuck up. Relax. I got this. In 2 swift, bouncy steps, I reach the front gate. Obviously it's locked, but it's not like that ever stopped me before. Once I'm sure no one can see me, I focus my strength on the gate and pry until the quiet crack announces that the lock has given in. The extraction goes as smoothly as it ever could. I get in quickly, take the guy by his arm, and help him slowly limp out the front yard. I let go of him a few steps later. He leans against the fence with noticeable relief. Ouch. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. The hell were you doing up there? Well, this is embarrassing. More than falling on your ass like that? He chuckles lightly and looks up at the window, the same one he was trying to reach a few moments ago. This is gonna sound pathetic as hell, but the crush lives in this house. Her shithead father kinda hates my guts, so we get together in secret. 'Cause of her folks nagging, she can't seem to make up her mind about us. She explicitly told me not to swing by her house, but she thought it was a good idea to climb up the walls of her keep like a goddamn Prince Charming and break your neck in her front yard. My remark really gets to him. Yeah, but what can I do? Give up on her when in my heart of hearts I know she loves me just as much as I love her? It ain't easy being this cheesy. She's got you good, huh? That she does. Well, feed on him. Yeah, we could feed on him. My personal choice, since I had like nothing for the last one because they were all bizarre, I would tell him to confront the dad. But what do you guys think? Should we feed on him? Be hilarious. Let's break the masquerade, yeah. Sometimes you gotta break the masquerade. Well, he obviously didn't notice. He was much too distracted by his ankle being twisted or whatever. Painful. So maybe he just thinks she's super strong. Because obviously she looks like a bodybuilder, right? Feed. Alright, you guys always want me to feed. You guys must think I'm starving. As I listen to him, a familiar sensation begins to overwhelm me. Why are you looking at me like that? I swiftly latch onto his hair and drag his head back. Then I bite down and drink, slowly quenching a part of my everlasting thirst with crimson liquid. As I release his listless body, the feeling of being watched strikes all of my senses at once. I instinctively look up and notice the mortified face of a young girl looking down at us from the window. You know, I thought that might be a thing that would happen. Because I'm saying there's no way they didn't hear him falling. Fuck. Tell me she didn't see. She absolutely saw. How dare you? And in front of my house? Daddy was right. You're a piece of shit, Prince. You just stay away from me. She shuts her window fiercely enough to break one of the panes. Well, at least she didn't understand what really transpired. I take off just in time to avoid being noticed by a furious family man who barges through the front door and immediately lashes out at poor Prince, who's still getting his shit together after my kiss. I feel awful. Another night, another fuck up. Better make myself scarce before the embarrassment catches up with me. All of a sudden, the world ends. Everything stops. I'm lost in darkness, and there's not even a heartbeat to guide me. It's like sleep paralysis, except it feels as if I suddenly woke up from reality instead of a dream. Instinctively, I react to it the same way I used to react whenever I woke up in the middle of the night, aware but not able to move or speak. I just wait for it to pass. But instead of slowly regaining control, I just see a bizarre room emerge from the darkness. Just look at her, flesh refusing its fate. It is. It is not the one you were looking for, is it? He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep is silent before the shearers, he did not open his mouth. There is none righteous, not even one. There is none who understands. There is none who seeks for God. All have turned aside. Together they have become useless. If anyone curses his father or mother, he must be put to death. Raging waves of the sea, foaming up their own shame, wandering stars for whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And in those days shall meek men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Whenever I become one with the darkness, there is always this nagging fear that it might be impossible to become the normal me again. That instead of the shadows returning to normal, I will let my consciousness be dragged somewhere else, somewhere between the worlds. Somewhere like this, wherever this is. This is the first time that fear has come true. Are you afraid? It's a bad idea to answer. Don't do it. Yes. Excellent. 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 I think I need to sit in this chair. It's specters, I think. Okay, so where she is likely is again, it's very vague, going between Wraith the Oblivion lore and Vampire the Masquerade lore of exactly where how the Lasombra travel through the shadows, but what it implies is that they skate across the Labyrinth, and the Labyrinth is a labyrinth that's inside of the Shadowlands. It's where Oblivion rests beneath. It's where the specters live. It's basically where you get pulled down into Oblivion, where your soul basically gets shattered and absorbed into the entropic entity that is Oblivion. So from what we can deduce, it's the Lasombra actually, when they travel through the shadows, they actually create their own little nihil, which is a direct portal into the Labyrinth, and then use that to travel and then come back out into the mortal realm through the nihil again. Because the Shadowlands just looks like the mortal world. It's just like a mirrored image of it where everything is gray and horrible and ugly and decaying. So that's the most we can sort of glean just from looking at those two lores. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. That's sort of just what I have deduced and what others have deduced. So right now, likely what she's in the Labyrinth, and it does say, that's why it stains your humanity to use Oblivion. It's why sometimes Lasombra, they don't want to come out of the shadows. They want to stay there because it wants to eat everything. Human, vampire, werewolf, it doesn't matter. So likely she's in a corner of the Labyrinth in her own personal little passion play, little nightmare type thing. Specters are like wraiths who went full frenzy, permanently full Oblivion. Yeah, that's what they are. I need to sit in this chair. Sit in this chair. Still in the lean years and unworthy of joining the rest. However, the path is open, and it is a path of obligation, liability, a debt that will be repaid one day. And when she asks you what brought you here, let your response be a scent of death. Suddenly, I feel my mind beginning to drift away from here. I am slowly starting to regain control over my thoughts. No, you aren't. Yes, I am. Fine. Think whatever you want. I find myself in a dark corner leaning against a wet, cold brick wall. I think I'm conscious again, back from wherever it was, awake but in an unfamiliar place. Well, let's just hope it's still in New York City. I emerge from the shadows to see where I am. A source of light above my head momentarily blinds me, causing me to instinctively raise my hand. As I do, I hit some sort of garbage bag with my hand. It falls to the floor, letting loose a metallic din. Oh, it's Tamika! What the fuck? A woman. I feel her hand grabbing my clothes. She brutally drags me closer. With one of my hands already above my head, I raise the other. Easy, peace, I mean you no harm. How long have you been here? I don't know. I've got no idea what I'm doing, here or in general, really. It's like sometimes the forces I control figure out how to control me. What are you? A junkie? No, you're kindred. Yeah. Keep your shit together, goddammit. But what's with the idea hell of heaven is just oblivion for death and world darkness? That's a little harder. As for heaven, I don't know. That's a little harder to suss out because I am not super familiar with Demon the Fallen lore, and also I'm not sure if that's even canonical anymore because it's a discontinued system. So I can't answer that, unfortunately. I'm Julia Sawinski, the representative of the Lasombra in New York City. Camarilla. I'm a Camarilla investigator. Well, if you came here to catch me, you're gonna be sorry you tried, Miss Lasombra. No. Stop right there. I wasn't ordered to catch anybody. I'm just investigating Douglas Callahan's death. This surprises her. She loosens her grip slightly. Callahan is dead? Nothing left but a rotten carcass and a musty robe. Well, I'll be damned. I've been off the grid for too long. What brought you here? A memory from a different world pops up in my head. Yeah, I think I know the right answer. A scent of death. She lets me go. I rub my eyes and finally get a good look at her face. She's gorgeous, and judging by her nomadic clothes and the particular fierce aura, she is probably an outlander, which is another term for clan gangrel. We'll have a talk, you and I. Sure. What's your name? Tamika. Pass me a smoke, will you? If only it could, my heart would skip a beat right now. Tamika. I guess, once again, someone out there led me to the proper path. Yeah, sure. When I pass her a cigarette, I realize I'm standing in something wet. Something that smells tasty. I look at my feet and see a puddle of water mixed with blood. Oh, I get it. Were these guys first light? Holy crap. I have to learn more about Wraith lore. Like I said, I have a playlist on my channel, 5 videos so far, Wraith the Oblivion lore. I talk about what Wraiths are, who are the Restless Dead. I talk about what Spectres are. I talk about Spectre cults. And I talk about... I'm sure I talk about other stuff. I can't remember. It's all there. It's in the playlist. Okay, so First Light, by the way, is the Second Inquisition operation. It's called Operation First Light, by the way. The high-powered guns and expensive-looking outfits, flashbangs, tasers, all chosen specifically to combat the undead. I recognize that equipment from some horror stories I've heard. First Light, SI, Usocom, whatever they call themselves, they all bleed out the same, usually before I have the chance to ask them a single question. Government-funded inquisitors. Some claim they're connected to the U.S. government, some claim they're supported by the anti-kindred faction in the Holy See. Some have even wilder theories. You did this all by yourself? Have you seriously seen nothing? Nothing at all? I shake my head. Believe it or not, I have no idea how I got here. I just kinda let the shadows guide me. Is that a Lasombra thing? I've never actually talked to any of you. No idea what you guys can actually do. Still learning the ropes myself. Go with the flow and all that. My embrace was just a few months ago. Huh. So you folks are with the Ivory Tower now. Last I checked, you were with the Sabbat. The Camis wouldn't forgive all the trouble you've caused them overnight. Again, I'm practically still a neonate. I just know there's a lot of bad blood between my clan and the others, and that I can expect at least one glare of pure contempt whenever I visit Elysium. Huh, I see. We smoke in silence for a short while. So did you kill them all yourself? You haven't answered my question. Yeah, I've been hunting these guys for the past few months. Aren't they extremely dangerous? Almost got me for good last year. Took me a few weeks to get back in action. Then why are you doing this? Those motherfuckers have an unfortunate tendency to hurt people I care about. My brothers, my sisters. I see. I don't know how it is in other cities, but here, funny enough, they only seem to target marginalized and radicalized kindred, ones that could theoretically pose a threat to the current order. Meanwhile, the establishment in New York City hasn't really changed ever since Calabros stepped down. Quite the opposite. Every SI raid in this city has only strengthened the old paradigm. Almost makes you think that their goal is something other than protecting the citizens from the blank body menace. Tamika throws her cigarette into the puddle, unfinished, and crushes it under her heel. She obviously has difficulty smoking. It's like she's only ever tried it a few times. I assume she saw me carrying a pack and decided to try it to calm her nerves after the battle. Or maybe she just wanted an excuse to make our conversation less awkward. Who knows? So, are you planning to snitch on me, Shadow Girl? And why would I do that? Let me get this straight. You really think I am dumb enough to believe for 1 second that a Camarilla investigator would just so happen to stumble upon the alley where I just killed a bunch of SI motherfuckers? If so, you're the one who's dumb, sister. I don't care if you think I'm dumb. I also don't care about the SI, and I don't care if you believe it was a happy accident I met you, especially considering not even the sheriff knows where you are. But I care about solving the mystery of Callahan's death, and as it happens, you're one of the pieces of the puzzle. What? What are you talking about? I found this on his body. Well, what remained of it. I show her the note. She tries to grab it to read it, but I don't let her. Aside from your name, we've got Hope, Agathon, and D'Angelo. You know them? Passingly. Any idea why Callahan would need a list of all of your names? I might know why, yeah. Do you? Absolutely. Do you know a man going by the name of Torque? Huh. Of course I do. Do you know about his connection to Boss Callahan and by proxy to this list and me? No, I'm all ears. Well, too bad, because it's classified intel, sister. What do you mean by classified? Not free. Oh, great. As if I were in a position to, or could afford any sort of quid pro quo, but fine, let's hear it. What do you want? She motions towards the bodies. I've killed too many of these assholes. They're tightening the screws. As it is, New York City is no longer safe for someone like me. Well, not that it ever was. Oh man. Bracing for something unreasonable. What I need is a way out of the city. You offer that to me, I give you the intel you need. Huh, would you look at that? That's something I can handle, actually, yeah. She raises her eyebrows. That's a surprisingly confident answer for a practically still a neonate. Something of an immigration officer? Psh, gotta say, you sound awfully close to a cop. Almost as bad, a bureaucrat. I know of a secret pathway that would lead you to the West Coast, 100% safe travel, and if you took it, you'd be untraceable. Sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Wait until you see how much it costs. The only reason I know of this route is because a certain Nazi criminal group reached out to me on account of my position and offered a mutually beneficial deal regarding illegal kindred travel. Send Tamika to LA by night so we can see her in it. Arturo and the other higher-minded players of the Masquerade are using the Second Inquisition to take out troublesome vampires. Yeah, and exactly. Rebels and anarchs who get too close to the truth. Plausible deniability. Absolutely. Arturo probably has... God, he's probably ghouled half of the, the New York City branch of the Inquisition or whatever government agency they're using. Awful. God, I hate that guy. He's, super smart and super good at being a puppet master, but he's also awful. Normally I'd refuse, but they offered me the only thing that can buy me, a lot of cash. Ah, fine then. Money's not an issue. Well, that's something I never had a chance to ever say in earnest. Okay then. Okay, so who helps who first? Alright, it's a deal, but who scratches whose back first? She ponders my question for a good while, studying me before she decides on a response. Have you met Torque before? In the course of your investigation, or before? I wanted to, but on the Anarch side, I only managed to meet Mia, and she wasn't keen on the idea of the two of us meeting. Ah, yes, Mia. Her expression betrays she's got some vicious stories to tell, but it would be beneath her to divulge them. Too bad. Maybe it could be a bonding experience. So here's the thing. A few months ago, Torque and I were together. A lot of things happened, and long story short, I no longer feel close to him. But from what I know, he still feels close to me. Back when I thought there might be something between us, I gave him a ring that has a lot of sentimental value to me. And since these days sentimentality is all that keeps me going, I want it back. So my suggestion is, tell Torque's people I sent you to get inside his base of operations. Meet up with him, ask him your questions, and convince him to give me my ring back. You get to interrogate him, then I get to have my ring, then you hear my side of the story, then I get to leave the city with your help. Everybody wins, more than once. They will really let me in just because I tell them you sent me. They will. Trust me. It sounds too easy. What caused the two of you to drift apart? Irreconcilable differences in worldview. Well, I assume so, but that's a diplomatic answer. If I'm going to involve myself in the relationship drama of two ex-lovers, I'll need something more to go on. Will you? Yeah. She picks her words carefully. I realized I had become an element of his carefully crafted projected image. Having me as a radical partner allowed him to present himself as a mediator while paying lip service to revolutionary ideas. A mediator. That's the 21st century for you. Everyone wants to be a middleman these days, and nobody wants to do what's right. You serious? Whenever I hear about Torque from the Ancillae, they talk about him like he's the second coming of Mao. If he ever seemed that, it's only because from time to time, people like me pushed him into doing an uneasy thing. Ever heard of the Southern Wolf and the Northern Fox? Both of them want to eat you for dinner, but only the Southern Wolf makes it immediately obvious. The tricky Northern Fox makes eyes and allows you to pet him before taking a bite. Torque loves to surround himself with Northern Foxes. They talk of compromises. They seem reasonable compared to the opposition. But at the end of the day, they have eyes on the same prize. Power. Hearing this gives me a foreboding feeling, but I can't quite nail down why. Alright, tell me where to go and I'll tell you where we'll meet later. God. Okay. So that's where I'm going to stop it here before we meet Torque. I didn't expect that to go on so long. My voice is dying over here. So apparently we poof are at Torque's. We don't get to, go anywhere else or pick anything around like that. But yeah, so things are getting, the thought plickens in this game. And yeah, I don't know where this is all going. Torque obviously seems like a guy who would get Callahan killed, or maybe the SI got Callahan killed. I don't know. The pieces aren't really coming together for me. Maybe that just might be because I'm reading so much and I'm not absorbing enough information. I certainly hope that's not the case. I love the animation of the fan, by the way. Does everyone see that? Chef's kiss. Beautiful. But I want to thank so many of you for being here in the live chat. I'm totally surprised that you guys were here. It's awesome. And I'll be playing this again tomorrow at around this time. So around 10:30, 11 Central Eastern Standard Time to whenever I can until my voice gives out. But yeah, this will be up live as soon as I end the live stream. And I want to thank everybody so much for coming. And I hope to see all of you tomorrow. Bye-bye.